Good afternoon, beautiful people. Thanks for tuning in. Eric Swalwell is back, and once again, instead of answering serious questions about his own conduct, he's suing someone else and screaming abuse of power. This time, the California congressman is suing the director of FHFA, Bill Pulte, for referring him to the Department of Justice for potential mortgage fraud. Swalwell says the referral is illegal. I say that he's terrified because he finally got caught. Let's break this down because this isn't about protecting democracy. This looks like Swalwell trying to dodge accountability. Again, welcome to Nelly Miranda.
News alert, Swalwell could be in some trouble. The feds are looking into his past. Not Fang, at least not yet. NBC is reporting that the congressman is being referred to the Justice Department for criminal prosecution. Once again, mortgage fraud. The allegations are that Swalwell listed his $1.2 million DC pad as his primary residence. But he's a congressman from California. Now it's up to Bondi to prosecute. Swalwell says Trump's just out for retribution, and the allegations are false. But that's the same thing Tish, Comey, and Bolton said. Eric better get his house in order. Rumor has it he wants Gavin's job. But if convicted, he won't have either.
So these Democrat officials really struggle with buying a house the proper way without lying. Imagine that. As always, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. Okay, so for months, federal housing oversight officials have been scrutinizing mortgage filings connected to Eric Swalwell and a DC residence allegedly claimed as a primary home. That matters because declaring a primary residence can unlock more favorable mortgage rates, lower insurance premiums, and significant financial benefits. Swalwell insists there's nothing to see here, but instead of calmly providing evidence and moving on, he's accusing Trump allies of stalking him through federal databases and launching a politically motivated hit job. It's so funny how Democrats never complain about government overreach until they are the ones being looked at. When this story broke about 2 weeks ago, this is what he had to say. Take a listen.
When we're in the majority, we will have subpoena power and accountability will happen. So Bill Pulte and any other lawless official who is carrying out these political prosecutions on behalf of Donald Trump, they should familiarize themselves with the Judiciary Committee room because they're going to be spending a lot of time there answering questions. And I sure hope everything they did was above board.
If you track Swalwell's career, this isn't his first dance with scandal. This is the same guy who spent years pushing the Russian hoax on cable news. The same guy who sat on the House Intelligence Committee while reportedly having a romantic relationship with an alleged Chinese spy named Fang. This doesn't exactly scream credibility, and now the moment someone looks into his records, suddenly it's unconstitutional. It's harassment, it's abuse of power, his privacy is invaded. Give me a break. If you were innocent, you'd welcome the investigation. You'd say, check everything, I've got nothing to hide. Instead, Swalwell is sprinting to court, screaming victim, before anyone can ask any real questions.
Before we go, you have some new reporting on what Congressman Eric Swalwell is doing when it comes to Bill Pulte. Suing Bill Pulte?
He is suing Bill Pulte, and he's suing Bill Pulte under the Federal Privacy Act. He's essentially saying that the referral by Bill Pulte to the Department of Justice accusing Eric Swalwell of mortgage fraud violates his rights to privacy because Bill Pulte pulled documents in an unofficial channel, used them for purposes that are not authorized, to then send them to the Department of Justice and didn't do so in a way that's lawful. And we've seen a version of this movie before. You know, he's suing Bill Pulte in his official capacity, meaning Bill Pulte would not be on the hook personally for any judgment he got. But if you remember, Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, when their texts were leaked by Bill Barr and others who worked for him in the Office of the Attorney General, Peter Strzok and Lisa Page sued. And what did they sue under? In part, the Federal Privacy Act. And the department ended up settling with them for about $2 million because their rights to privacy were violated. Eric Swalwell is hoping that he can similarly make a successful argument before any real investigation, much less prosecution of him, gets off the ground.
There's a pattern here. Every single time a Democrat gets investigated, suddenly the Constitution is in flames. Democracy is under attack, and we're inches away from dictatorship. But when conservatives are under investigation, it's accountability. I think it is obvious that Swalwell is trying to set the narrative before investigators present evidence. It's a classic political maneuver. He's cranking up the media sympathy machine, blaming Trump, blame the DOJ, blame conservatives, make himself the victim, anything to avoid talking about the mortgage filings. And let's remember, a referral to the DOJ isn't a conviction. It's a request for review. If the referral was bogus, Swalwell should just let it play out and prove it. Instead, he is trying to kill it in court before it lands. That tells you everything you need to know. But here's a post that he made on X yesterday regarding the lawsuit. He said, "Today I have filed a civil lawsuit against FHA Director Bill Pulte for violating the Privacy Act and First Amendment. Director Pulte has combed through private records of political opponents to silence them. There's a reason the First Amendment, the freedom of speech, come before all others. As George Orwell said, if liberty means anything at all, it means the right to tell people what they do not want to hear." I can't. He's not addressing the mortgage fraud allegations. He's basically suing on the basis of mind your business, don't worry about me. Eric Swalwell had the nerve to announce his campaign for governor just days after the DOJ probe. To me, it looks like a cover-up to divert attention from his alleged mortgage fraud.
Congressman Eric Swalwell is officially running for governor of California. And tonight, he's explaining why he's jumping into the race, with some political experts saying he'll have to differentiate himself from an already crowded field of fellow Democrats.
So I came here tonight, Jimmy, to tell you and your audience that I'm running to be the next governor of California.
Less than 24 hours after officially announcing his plans on late-night television to run for governor of California, Bay Area Congressman Eric Swalwell is explaining how campaigning for the passage of Prop 50 led to his late entry into the race.
I saw from Folsom to Costa Mesa that people are scared, prices are high, and the state needs a fighter and a protector.
Before becoming a member of Congress, Swalwell worked as a prosecutor for the Alameda County DA's office and also served as a council member in his hometown of Dublin. He now joins a crowded field of prominent Democrats running for governor of California, and he believes his experience in standing up to the Trump administration and also focusing on affordability in the state will resonate with voters.
We bring down prices. We surge housing in the state. We declare a housing emergency in every single city in the state.
But some political experts say Swalwell will need to show specific policies on affordability in order to stand out from the crowd.
You can tout affordability all you like, but eventually it's going to come down to a question of who actually has policies to achieve affordability.
And Republican opponents hope that Swalwell entering the race could benefit them.
Nothing would please me more than for more high-profile Democrats to get in the race, and then possibly where we end up with, given our top two system, 2 Republicans on the ballot in November of 26.
At the end of the day, this is about whether the law applies equally to everyone, including the people who loves lecturing the rest of us on ethics and accountability. We're asking for the same standard Democrats claim to matter during their endless investigations. We want transparency, evidence, and consequences if wrongdoing is proven. Swalwell doesn't seem to want any of that. Eric Swalwell can blame Trump, blame conservatives, blame Santa Claus. It doesn't matter. The facts will come out. And if those mortgage filings were improper, then we can only hope that he doesn't get a leftist judge who's going to let him off the hook. But what do you think? Does this look like persecution or panic? Let me know in the comments. And as always, if honest commentary brings you value, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe to support the channel and ring the bell so you don't miss any updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.